All days we come across are not the same. However, memories are not just the ones that make us feel like we're in heaven. Some memories are simply unforgettable because of the tragedy that has changed our lives. The tragedy that uprooted my life was 6 years ago. However, I still remember it as it was like yesterday. I was finishing the last few questions in my 2016 final exams. Abruptly, our principal strolled into the room and walked over to me. The entire class went to look. He took a deep breath and asked me whether my mother had been sick before. With the fear and troubling my voice wavy, I replied, "Is everything wrong with my mother?" Right just outside, I saw my brother. I knew without a doubt that something eccentric was going on. Unexpectedly, everything, including the room, turned dim. For me, as though somebody had switched off the lights. As the principal led me outside, my mother had been in a car accident in a nearby town called Mutoko. I got saddening news from my brother. I found my mother in a coma. This was my first time seeing someone in a coma. And when I saw her, I did not cry because it looked like she was just asleep. I could not understand how this could happen to me. I asked my sister, "Will mother talk again?" She did not reply to me, only cried. The next day, the doctor said that mother will never talk again. For me, life continued as a movie since I could not believe what was happening to me. Just seeing anonymous roses arrive beside my mother's bed. Visitors came in and spent the whole day doing nothing. Gradually, I realized that I would never talk to my mother again. My eyes were always filled with tears like a flowing river. 1 week later, my mother passed away. The week that I spent in the hospital silent with her before she died taught me a lot. She was there with me even as she was gone. That quiet time with her helped me to lose my fear of being an orphan and transition into my new life. I realized that fear was not necessarily a problem, but the problem can be how we decide how to handle it. At the burial, we saw many other people who had just come to bury their beloved ones. Deep in a village surrounded by rocks and valleys where I grew up, it was very rural with minimal access to healthcare. So friends and families were everything. I had many friends who had lost their parents before the age of 10. Before my mom died, she had worked tirelessly to send me to a nearby school. Later, when I felt like giving up, I remembered the words she told me before she died. "You are without a doubt my proudest accomplishment. Pay attention to your studies, but know there is much more to school life than textbooks. Play team sports, always try your best. I could never ask any more of you. Never fear failure. You will learn more from mistakes than success." I started focusing on my studies like never before. In high school, I joined the school basket team in my first year. 1 year later, we won the regional basketball competitions. Though my principal wondered whether I would balance my academics and basketball, I concentrated on my studies as my mother had told me. He was shocked when I was ranked number 1 in my class. I was awarded a full bursary to study for 4 years. Besides, I was elected as the academic president in school government. In grade 11, I had overcome the fear of failure completely. as my mother had advised me. I joined the Young Entrepreneur Regional Competition where I presented one coin per child program. This was to encourage savings, and money saved could buy school supplies, especially for orphans. I earned the first prize as the best young entrepreneur of the year. My story reminded me a young man called Jack, with whom we stay in the same community. Jack was always quiet and found it hard to share his story with anyone else. Jack stayed with his grandmother. Her grandmother did not allow him to speak to anyone regarding his life. Jack became a good friend of mine, but he found it hard to express himself to me. One day, I invited Jack to a counseling session that happened every last Friday of every month. As we were in the meeting, I popped up a question. How could someone who never got a chance to see their parents accept the fear of being an orphan? Jack looked at me with tears flowing from his eyes. This was a good sign to me. I knew he was going to open up finally. Both my parents died when I was 2 years old. I don't know any of them. Jack burst into tears. This changed my life and my mind. At least I got a chance to see my mother, but Jack never did so. I had to do something for my community and save people like Jack from the darkness of loneliness caused by being an orphan. I reminded Jack that all orphans deserve a loving and supportive family and inspirations. Jack agreed to follow me and brought an impact in our community. Jack and I started an organization in our community called Church 54. This community-based organization aimed at helping people, especially orphans, bringing hope, showing love, and encouraging 54 children who had lost their parents. We started the organization with limited funds and experience. Later, we got partners like Child Care Rwanda and Imbuto Foundation who supported us financially and mentally. I know we might have different Jacks here today who are with us, who feel like the same way how Jack used to feel, who think that losing a parent is the end of their story. I have good news for you today. Jack and I, through our programs and partners, are here for you. You guys deserve good health. You deserve love. You deserve rights to education. You deserve right to be loved and much more. You can join us for free of charge, and we create a new world together. In addition, I call upon the mothers out there who take care of orphans. I urge you today to treat those kids with love and care. No one decides to lose a parent. I ask you to treat those kids like your biological kids. It is a blessing from God. Now we have more experience and we have necessary resources and mentorship. Jack and I have provided adequate food, health care, clothing and education and psychological support. We have provided these things to 600 orphans in our community. Most importantly, we have saved them from the darkness of loneliness within the past 5 years. The journey continues. Let us treat these innocent humans with some love. No one chooses to lose a parent. Today it might be me. Tomorrow it might be you. Let us save the children. Orphans are also humans. Together we can build a family and home for orphans.